The ocean is a place of silent secrets, a vast, dark expanse where light rarely reaches. And in these inky depths, evolution does not play by our rules. Somewhere around 1,000 meters below the surface, where the water is cold enough to slow a human heartbeat and dark enough to swallow every flicker of light, drifts a creature so bizarre it seems born from another planet rather than Earth itself. The Barreleye fish. At first glance, it might seem like a fragile, unremarkable denizen of the deep. But look closer, if you dare, and the horror of its extraordinary anatomy begins to unfold. Imagine a head encased in a transparent, fluid-filled dome, a structure that refracts the dimmest glimmers of bioluminescent prey into a spectacle of prismatic color. Its eyes, large and tubular, do not point forward like ours but upward, swivel independently, scanning the black ceiling of the ocean for the faint silhouettes of drifting jellyfish or the glimmer of tiny shrimp. Yet, these eyes, suspended in liquid within the dome, are not merely for seeing. They are a window into a world that we can scarcely imagine, a world where survival demands radical adaptation and the normal rules of anatomy are rewritten. To encounter the barreleye fish in its natural habitat is to witness evolution, experimenting with geometry, optics, and physiology all at once. Its translucent head, its tubular gaze, its tiny, almost helpless body, these are not flaws, they are answers to an environment where pressure crushes, light vanishes, and energy is a rare currency. In the mesopelagic zone, where the sun's rays die, and the only light comes from the flicker of other creatures, perception is life. And here, in this twilight realm, the barreleye fish has perfected the art of seeing without being seen. Scientists first observed these creatures through deep-sea submersibles, their cameras capturing a haunting spectacle, a silhouette gliding in near silence, a ghost with eyes that seem too large for its head, its dome reflecting the faint blue glow of bioluminescent prey. There were whispers in research journals of how the fish could tilt its eyes backward to see what it was actually eating, how the transparency of its cranium offered a direct view of its brain, almost like evolution daring us to comprehend it. This fish is a paradox, vulnerable yet almost spectral, a hunter camouflaged against a void. Its mouth is a narrow, almost fragile opening, yet its senses compensate for what brute force cannot achieve. It is a predator designed for subtlety, reliant on precision over speed, intelligence over might. In some ways, the barreleye fish forces us to confront the limits of human understanding, to reconsider what it means to be normal in a biosphere that does not center around our senses or our scale. Each inch of its body is a testament to adaptation, every strange curve a solution to the challenges of living where almost nothing else can. And yet, there is more than science here. There is a creeping sense of existential unease. That clear dome, through which you can literally see the organs and tissues inside its head, makes the barreleye fish feel like an open wound of evolutionary experimentation. A reminder that the deep sea is a theater of extremes, where life can be at once beautiful, horrifying, and alien. Our understanding of this creature is still partial. Even with ROVs, sonar, and molecular biology, we are only beginning to scratch the surface of its sensory universe. It has been observed drifting silently, almost motionless, eyes flicking independently in a ceaseless vigil, scanning for the faintest trace of food. Scientists speculate that this method of perception is an adaptation to energy scarcity. The deep ocean is a place where every calorie counts, where a misstep could mean starvation. And perhaps what is most unnerving is the barreleye fish's apparent passivity, its ghost-like patience, as it waits in a cathedral of shadows, a cathedral where even time itself seems stretched, and death is always just a flicker away. Its existence challenges the human imagination, because it lives in conditions we can barely survive for minutes, and yet here it thrives, perfectly engineered for an ecosystem we will never inhabit. In the barreleye fish, we see the extremes of evolution laid bare: transparency as camouflage, eyes as optical telescopes, a body sculpted for efficiency, all wrapped in a hauntingly fragile shell. To observe it is to realize that life does not bend to our expectations. It does not need to be symmetrical, appetizing, or even understandable to flourish. And in the dark, where no light penetrates, the barreleye fish is a king not by strength, but by perception, a creature whose very strangeness is proof of survival. This is only the beginning. The barreleye fish is not just a curiosity. It is a portal into a world where the rules of biology are rewritten daily by the pressures of an environment that is relentless, unforgiving, and utterly alien. As we follow its journey deeper into the Twilight Zone, we will see how evolution has shaped not just its form, but its behavior, its hunting strategies, and its very existence in ways that make it a creature as mysterious as the abyss it inhabits. And somewhere, amid the swirl of plankton and the faint, eerie glow of bioluminescence, the barreleye fish drifts onward, a living testament to the fact that in the dark, there is no normal, only survival, adaptation, and the exquisite strangeness of life itself. As we descend further into the mesopelagic twilight, the barreleye fish reveals its true mastery of survival, a choreography of subtle movements and optical ingenuity that few creatures on Earth could rival. Unlike the flamboyant predators of the shallower seas, it does not chase. It waits, suspended in near invisibility, a silent observer of the drifting bioluminescent world above. Its eyes, unlike anything in human experience, function like two independently moving telescopes, capable of rotating within the fluid-filled dome to track both prey and predator, scanning upward for silhouettes while simultaneously monitoring its own immediate surroundings. This dual perspective allows it to remain concealed beneath its transparent shield, while calculating the precise angle and distance of its next meal. Researchers have noted that the barreleye's eyes are uniquely adapted to detect faint green flashes of light, the preferred wavelength of the tiny siphonophores and jelly-like organisms that form its diet. In an environment where energy is scarce, the ability to see what is invisible to others is not luxury, it is life or death. Its tubular eyes contain specialized pigments that maximize photon capture, and its retinal structure is arranged not in a flat plane, but in a concave configuration, essentially creating a telephoto lens that magnifies distant shapes. Meanwhile, the dome itself, more than a protective helmet, acts as a light-focusing instrument, reducing glare and refracting the faint bioluminescence into images its brain can interpret. One of the most extraordinary adaptations is the fish's ability to tilt its eyes backward, literally seeing what is directly in front of its mouth without compromising the upward gaze. This inversion of sensory expectation allows it to monitor both predator and prey simultaneously, a feat unparalleled in vertebrates. The barreleye's body is equally refined, designed for minimal energy expenditure. Its musculature is weak, yet sufficient for subtle thrusts and hovering. Its translucent skin reduces visibility, effectively cloaking it against the dim blue backdrop of the deep. Even its digestive system is adapted to scarcity. Slow-moving, specialized enzymes extract maximum nutrients from each tiny organism consumed, a metabolic economy owned over millions of years. Observations from submersibles have shown that barreleyes exhibit what can only be described as near-hypnotic patience, floating in a vertical posture, eyes scanning, mouth slightly open, waiting for the merest pulse of light signaling a passing organism. When the moment arrives, their strike is almost imperceptible, a motion so refined it seems choreographed rather than instinctive. Yet, despite these precise adaptations, the barreleye is not invincible. Its transparent head, though protective against glare and predation from below, exposes its vulnerability to larger predators capable of attacking from the side or above. But even here, evolution provides a countermeasure. Its dome is filled with fluid that can absorb minor impacts, and the fish can suddenly retract its tubular eyes deeper into the skull if threatened, like lenses retreating into a camera body. The sensory sophistication of the barreleye fish is not limited to vision. While its eyes dominate attention, it possesses an acute mechanoreception system, detecting minute vibrations in the water that hint at nearby movement. It can sense the undulations of jellyfish bells or the flutter of a distant krill swarm, integrating this information with visual input to create a three-dimensional map of its immediate environment. This integration of senses allows it to operate in near-total darkness, a living radar tuned to the subtle cues of the abyss. Interestingly, the barreleye exhibits behavioral plasticity uncommon among fish, adjusting its posture, depth, and eye orientation according to the density of prey or presence of predators. When threatened, it may invert, adopting a head-down orientation, using its tubular eyes to monitor what looms above, and its nearly invisible body to blend with the dim light from below. In other instances, it drifts with current-assisted motions, conserving energy while maintaining a constant vigil over its territory. Each behavioral nuance is a story of survival, a negotiation with an environment that offers abundance only in fleeting glimpses. Scientists continue to marvel at how such a small creature can occupy a niche so demanding, thriving where the pressures of darkness and cold have eliminated most competitors. Its reproductive behavior is equally enigmatic. Unlike many deep-sea species that release vast quantities of gametes into the water in hope of chance fertilization, barreleyes appear to engage in selective spawning, though direct observation remains limited. Genetic studies suggest low fecundity, but high offspring survival rates, an investment in quality over quantity, ensuring that each generation inherits the intricate suite of adaptations necessary to navigate this abyssal theater. But perhaps the most unnerving aspect of the barreleye is its transparency. Not just a window into its anatomy, but a psychological window into an alien logic of survival. Through the clear dome, one can see the eyes suspended in fluid, the brain cradled within, the faint outline of organs pulsing with life. It is a living X-ray, a visual testimony to the intricate compromises evolution imposes. Visibility versus vulnerability, perception versus defense, patience versus predation. It seems almost as though the fish invites our scrutiny, daring us to comprehend a form of life that is optimized for a world we cannot inhabit. The barreleye's existence is a study in contrasts. Fragile yet resilient, passive yet vigilant, alien yet profoundly familiar in its pursuit of survival. Each anatomical twist, each behavioral choice, is a page in an ongoing evolutionary manuscript, a narrative written in the language of light, motion, and energy. In watching it drift through the inky void, one begins to appreciate the broader dynamics of the deep ocean. Life here is not measured in days or seasons, but in moments of detection, the precise interception of scarce resources, the avoidance of predators that may appear without warning. The barreleye embodies this reality with poetic cruelty, a creature whose life is defined by exquisite balance and relentless adaptation. Every inch of its body is a calculation, every glance upward or backward a complex analysis of risk and opportunity. Through this lens, the barreleye fish is less a curiosity and more a revelation. It is a testament to what life can achieve when pressed to extremes, a biological marvel that makes the familiar rules of anatomy, vision, and hunting seem almost arbitrary. And yet, for all its precision, for all its alien elegance, it remains deeply vulnerable, reminding us that perfection in the natural world is always relative, always provisional, a negotiation with forces far larger than any individual organism. As we continue to observe the barreleye, drifting like a ghost in its cathedral of faint light, we glimpse not just an adaptation, but a philosophy of survival. It teaches patience, subtlety, and the relentless tuning of senses to environment. It shows that life in the deep is less about brute force and more about understanding, perception, and the quiet mastery of one's domain. In the barreleye fish, we see a creature that has rewritten the rules of hunting, vision, and even existence itself, a living experiment in the possibilities of life under pressure, both literal and figurative. And yet, its story is not only about triumph but fragility, a reminder that the abyss is indifferent, and that the marvels of evolution are only temporary victories in a theater governed by light, scarcity, and the unseen hand of predation. As we descend toward the Haddle depths, where pressure mounts and light vanishes entirely, the barreleye fish begins to reveal the fragility underlying its alien perfection, a reminder that even the most extraordinary adaptations exist on borrowed time. Fossil records and genetic analyses hint that the lineage of the barreleye, like so many deep-sea dwellers, has persisted for tens of millions of years, surviving mass extinctions and oceanic upheavals. Yet its environment is a precarious tightrope. Hydrothermal activity, oxygen minimum zones, and shifting currents can turn abundance into scarcity in an instant, and a slight disruption in the delicate balance of bioluminescent prey can ripple through the food web, threatening survival. Scientists speculate that any significant change in ocean chemistry, temperature, or nutrient availability could place this species and countless other mesopelagic organisms at risk, illustrating a paradox of deep-sea evolution. Extreme specialization secures short-term success but amplifies vulnerability to systemic change. The barreleye's dome, its eyes, its metabolic precision, All evolutionary masterpieces offer protection and efficiency, yet they also define constraints. Its fragile skull cannot withstand much physical trauma. Its specialized retina cannot suddenly detect a different spectrum of light, and its energy-conserving metabolism limits its capacity to endure prolonged food scarcity. The deep sea is a theater where even perfection is provisional, where life balances on razor-thin margins. There is a poetic horror in this truth. The very traits that allow the Barreleye to flourish in darkness also make it exquisitely sensitive to disruption. A creature owned for survival, yet entirely dependent on an environment that is itself mutable and unknowable. Our fascination with the Barreleye, however, goes beyond its biology. It invites reflection on life's precariousness and adaptability. In the transparent dome of its skull, we see not just eyes, but a metaphor for vulnerability, how evolution exposes as much as it protects, how survival demands brilliance yet offers no guarantees. It reminds us that complexity is a double-edged sword. The more specialized a life form becomes, the more it hinges upon the constancy of its world. And yet, even in the face of fragility, there is elegance, a philosophical lesson written in biological code. The Barreleye fish drifts silently, a ghostly sentinel of the deep, embodying the quiet dignity of creatures that exist entirely in extremes. It does not rage against the darkness, nor does it struggle against the cold or pressure. It simply is a masterpiece of adaptation, a meditation on what it means to endure. Its existence challenges human notions of resilience, survival, and intelligence. We tend to measure success by vigor or abundance, by dominance over others. Yet here is a life that thrives by observation, by patience, by mastering subtleties invisible to us. In many ways, the Barreleye teaches a form of quiet wisdom, that perception, adaptation, and timing can outweigh brute force, and that the measure of life is not always obvious from the surface. The deep ocean, vast and indifferent, offers no comfort. It shows that life can be exquisite and horrifying at once, that beauty often resides in forms we cannot fully comprehend. The Barreleye's transparency, its tubular eyes, its delicate metabolism, they are all testimonies to the deep's exacting standards. And as we reflect on this creature, a thought emerges. Life in the extreme is both miraculous and ephemeral. Each moment of survival is a victory, each flicker of perception a testament to the relentless push of evolution. Its existence, so alien and precise, evokes awe and humility, a reminder that our own world, bright and familiar, is only one theater among countless possibilities of life. Some scientists argue that understanding species like the Barreleye can illuminate broader truths about resilience, adaptation, and vulnerability, not just in the deep sea, but across ecosystems, including our own. The Barreleye's fragile triumphs underscore that even genius solutions are temporary against the ceaseless churn of the natural world, a philosophical mirror to humanity's own tenuous place on this planet. And yet, there is comfort in observing this resilience, in seeing that life, even in its most alien form, persists. The Barreleye's silent drift through the twilight zone is both a warning and an inspiration. A warning that fragility is always present, that perfection is provisional, that the world's extremes can claim even the most adapted, and an inspiration that evolution, in its patient, iterative brilliance, can create solutions that defy our expectations, that flourish where logic and familiarity fail. To peer into the transparent dome of the Barreleye is to look not only at a brain and eyes suspended in fluid, but at the fragile architecture of life itself, a delicate system tuned for survival, exquisitely balanced, yet always at the mercy of change. It is a window into the sublime, the intersection of science, mystery, and philosophy, where biology becomes a meditation on existence. And perhaps the most haunting truth is that, despite all its adaptations, the Barreleye remains unknowable in some ways, a reminder that even in the age of science, the universe contains pockets of alien beauty that resist comprehension. In this alien theater of darkness, evolution writes narratives we can observe but not fully inhabit, crafting life forms whose strangeness illuminates the ingenuity and fragility of existence itself. As the Barreleye drifts silently in its inky cathedral, we are left with questions larger than biology, about survival, about perception, about the delicate balance of life in any environment, and about our own place in a world where extremes define the rules. Perhaps the ultimate lesson of the Barreleye fish is this: to witness life in its purest, most extreme forms is to confront the delicate, fleeting, and astonishing miracle of existence, to appreciate the relentless creativity of evolution, and to recognize that normalcy is not a universal law, but a temporary concept, suspended in a universe that is far stranger, darker, and more beautiful than we often allow ourselves to imagine.